All right, so we're going to be talking about EGL Ginyu. Now, there's not too much to talk about in regards to Dokkan. We do have the Global Dokkan Celebration upcoming, but beyond that, not really too much until next week's content actually comes out. I do expect an Extreme Z Awakening announcement on Sunday, potentially, is what I'm thinking, more or less, but we'll need to wait and see for that. But beyond that specifically, I'm not really expecting too much to be announced. You know, maybe some more details on that challenge event that's upcoming, but let's talk about Captain Ginyu himself, and we're going to rank him across the different tier list. So I have this Festival Battles tier list right here. I have this Red Zone tier list, and then I have the Battle Hardened Formidable Foes list. We're going to add them to all three of these lists, then make a general top 10 consensus on if this guy fits top 10 TURs, you know, things like that. Now, a lot of people do not like this character, and I think I completely understand why. Again, I've used this guy for the past couple of days just to get a general good idea of how I like him and where I would actually place him in terms of like a tier list like this. Now, getting this out of the way, I don't think he's a Festival Battles character. So I'm actually gonna go ahead and put him in Never right here. Actually, already did by accident, but I'm putting him in Never here. It is a little disappointing as a stacking character, and especially seeing how good Ginyu was in the original Red Zones when he first came out. The thing about Ginyu is that he stacks defense in his base form, but then when he's transformed, he stacks offense. The issue is you're gonna stack defense throughout the fight, but then you're gonna get to a point where you still need to stack defense, but this guy's not going to do enough damage. Especially, you know, most of the Ginyu Force characters do not work there. So I don't think this guy is intended to be a festival character, which, I mean, usually I don't mind, but that's a lot of the times when it comes to non-stacking characters. Like, what character that's a stacking character has released this year that's not like a festival character? Maybe I guess AGL Cell, Goku Gohan, but I feel like, you know, this guy obviously stopped stacking. Gohan and Goku stopped stacking. Like, Ginyu is a character that stacks permanently through the rest of the fight. I mean, EGL Bardock is another character. He has stacking, right? He stacks defense here, then again he stacks attack here, which is why he's able to do things and hold his own. He's also not restricted. Like, I think you guys see the point here where a lot of these stacking characters end up being pretty good for festival, but this guy's like the first stacking character this year that is not really good for festival, and that's because he should have stacked attack here, or greatly raised attack and defense when he's Goku Ginyu. That would have been also very useful. So that is already just a big thing with this Captain Ginyu, unfortunately, because of his restrictions and just the weird stacking nature with him. It's a bit odd. Now, it's a little more favorable in red zone situations, though. And again, this is the red zone kind of tier list for the most part. I think Ginyu will be much more applicable in these red zone stages. Now, I've used Ginyu on his own 200% team a little bit, but mostly I used him on the 220% Tau team. That is the one team he actually is under a 220% on, and the only one right now. I ran him, you know, I had Berta and Jace on the team. Sometimes I had, you know, Rikuma Guldo on the team, I think primarily as his slot 1 character, kind of trying a bunch of these different red zones. And I think this guy's overall good in the red zone meta, which honestly is the most important thing. I think that this guy is getting a little too much flack when it comes to red zone. He's not crazy busted overpowered in red zones, which I would also say, you know, he probably could have been, but I do like him in these red zone kind of circumstances, right? Now he usually gets enough defense, I would say, to tank every super attack in the game. Even though he does have these high chances of these super attacks, he has the baseline 50% reduction more or less when he's pre-transformed. But even if you fall under this and lose the damage reduction rate 30% here, that just means you can transform into Goku Ginyu and you will get the 50% right here. With the 50% chance to dodge, he could potentially have a scouter. Damage isn't crazy, but you know, it's pretty decent. I feel like defensively this guy meets what he needs to once he's able to stack up enough throughout these fights. You know, you could also hold a little bit back with Tau Pai Pai and continue to get this guy more and more stacks. that's definitely another helpful option. But I personally haven't seen an issue with Captain Ginyu in this difficult content defensively. What I would say is the issue is offense. This guy, you know, he has 250% start of turn, then 150% when attacking. But if we compare him to, I don't know, Calum Khalifa, I think is the biggest character, right? Calum Khalifa has just 2 guaranteed additional supers. This guy's super attacks are 70% chances. He has the greatly stacking attack, but he doesn't have, like, you know, again, if we let's take a look here at Cap, right? Just as an example, the most other recent TUR character, right? She has this support right here, 200% start of turn plus 200% when attacking, but she has stacking from before then. On top of this, Captain Ginyu, you know, he has some pretty decent offensive links to a certain point. Like, if you have respect up, that could be good. But respect is only a link he gets with some of these other Ginyu characters. Like, if you have him linked with Rukuma Goto, which is going to be the main linking partner, 10% attack, 25%. Yeah, like, he has pretty decent links there. I just feel like the damage numbers are just not as high as they should be because he doesn't stack attack before attacking. Before transforming, which is an issue. So he's starting off at like 20 mil attack stats, and then he transforms to this guy at the end of the fight. Like, and then he can miss those additional supers, man. I don't know. Like, sure, he has the super effective. He has the built-in 50% chance to crit, which is also very nice. But I think this guy should have had, like, okay, he has build up, I believe, right here. Like, he should have had a separate build up chance because they kind of moved it all here, of course, right? So it's like he doesn't have to build up anymore, but they should have given him like an extra 100% multiplicative attack or something like that. Could be really cool. I think these should have been, he should have had a guaranteed additional super. At least one of these two should have been on guaranteed additional super. I don't really know why they weren't, unfortunately. It just kind of, like, it will continue to make this guy inconsistent with his damage numbers. And I think that's the one thing where this guy is a bit lacking. So if we consider all of these in effects, I feel like a lot of the characters here are pretty consistent, both offensively and defensively. And on top of that, provide some other tech, like, you know, Tech Cell, you with the Rainbow Orb changing. Esther Cell technically has that revive there. He has the domain support, you know, AGL Cell. It's just, I think AGL Cell is just like a stronger version of that Ginyu. It almost feels like, to an extent, even though he stacks way less, he just feels like a stronger version of that Ginyu. You know, Pycon has the Ghost Sesser support. Janemba, you know, he's a very strong slot 1 capability character. He has better dodge chances, right? Like, I don't know. I feel like the Cell is just like a better version of this AGL Cell of this Ginyu. And he's unrestricted. For Ginyu also being restricted to needing Ginyu Force characters, it's just unfortunate. But I'm still thinking S tier for Ginyu, because I don't think he's in a spot where, oh, he can't tank some of the hardest super attacks potentially, or, you know, there could be some massive issues with him. As long as you have him next to Rikuma Godo, I think he is able to look pretty good. And, you know, let's say he gets to, I mean, I've seen him have 1.5 mil defense or beyond that, like, start of turn when he's, you know, post transformed. Keep in mind, he'll get the 150% defense when receiving an attack, so he shoots up to past 3 mil defense at that point. But then he has the 50% reduction, so he'd be able to double digit tank 6 mil super attacks, which, you know, in situations like that, let's say the hardest hitting super is S-tier Jiren for 5.7 mil. This guy is able to double digit tank that. He's able to double digit tank AGL Jiren super attack because he's a defensive stacking character. It's just offense, I think, is where this guy's issue lies. Even his restrictions aren't the biggest deal once you get Goku Ginyu out, because Goku Ginyu does not have any of the Ginyu Force restrictions. I mean, it'd be ideal if you have a Jace on the team for the Scouter, but it's not even that big of a deal. So that's right, Ginyu. I still think he's like an S tier character. He's just not Z tier when it comes to Red Zone, which, again, I think it could very easily be fixed if he also stacked both stats. It should have been, he should have stacked attack and defense pre-transformation, and the post-transformation should have been a 50% stack. Like, I don't see why not. Now, this is battle hardened foes. I think Ginyu can look decent in battle hardened foes, but he just doesn't have any tools. I guess we could also consider Ginyu supporting, but Ginyu for support's not really that crazy, but like he doesn't really have any tools. Like he's able to tank normals, but he has no attack lowering, he has no debuffs, he has like no dodge. Basically, he's reliant fully on tanking. And you know, he's not really gonna be too good in the Cell Max phases either. It's just, yeah, no. Nah. And Ginyu's just not really that great here. Like, why would you choose to run Ginyu necessarily? I almost want to say B tier. Because, like, this guy has stun. This guy has damage reduction support, plus he can attack lower. This guy gets the 90% reduction. You can stun. You have the 90% dodge turn 1, right? You have the Scouter on 9% reduction turn 1 like that. You multi-turn support. That could be interesting. Like, this guy could tank Cell Max a super if you, like, if you have this guy, like, let's say in the second rotation, and this Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta has, like, his 90% reduction against the Cell Max AoE, like, you could potentially even take that, right? More of a niche scenario, but he has like these turn 1 tools that can be very effective in those modes. Slug has stun, Buhan attack lords. Like you're seeing where I'm coming from, right? I think the only character here is like maybe you could say on questionable footing is like S tier Cell, but I mean I don't know. And even like the Super Saiyan 2 Goku has, you know, stun himself. I just, you know, these guys don't really have that many tools compared to I feel like a lot of these characters. I mean, even Super Saiyan 2 Goku could probably move up at this point, but like, I would rather use this guy than Ginyu, for sure, in this mode. So Ginyu is just not really a great battle hardened foes option. As a stacking character, he's not Festival Battles. He's good in Red Zone for the most part, which I think, again, does take the most merit, but when I'm ranking these characters, my voice keeps cracking. When I'm ranking these characters, I do consider all 3 of these modes. Let's say 60% Red Zone, 30% Battle Hardened Foes, and then the last 10% is Festival Battles. Something like that, maybe, right? With that in mind, I don't think Ginyu breaks this list. I think Ginyu is like top 15 contender. I can 100% see that. But even that is kind of like to an extent because, okay, you know, a lot of these characters, like, these 3 characters excel in all 3 of these game modes at a very good rate, which is why I have them up there. Then I think Tao is the character like next. Okay, he's not like a lot of these characters are not that great in Red Zone, but Tao is obliterating battle hardened foes. Tao is also pretty much obliterating, you know, Red Zones to an extent where I almost want to make like I almost want to like separate the tiers where these guys or a tier under these 4 is what I'm thinking. But that's kind of where I have it in my mind. I don't know if it's enough for our complete tier change. It probably is though. I mean, I guess I could like make a S plus tier. That might be what I do actually, like an S plus tier here. Because I'm kind of thinking like this, like these 4 up here for Red Zone. Yeah, I think I feel a lot better about this specifically. And then I'll make you this color. I kind of just have to shift all the colors down, but that's not really that big of a deal. It should be good from here. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think like this feels better to me. And it's like you can see where kind of these 4 split up at the top here. I mean, Glorio's good enough to where that's why I have Glorio here. But I feel like, again, since I consider battle hardened foes a little more, I'm thinking like Textile, especially right there. STR cells in a better spot than Glorio and Red Zone. So like kind of that's where I'm having these opinions here. Pycon Janemba, you know, AGL Cell could realistically be interchanged with like, you know, even Fat Boo if you want to go that far. But AGL Cell is pretty good. Path to Power. Actually, I might put Path to Power here. If I look at Path to Power versus Cell. So like Cell, I mean Path to Power is, I might do this. Yeah, Path to Power up there. He's just in so much of a better spot with Tao, especially now. But I mean, he's just continued to impress me more and more and more and more. Like he's on so many of these top tier teams. No, I didn't want to. Oh, okay, no, it's safe. Thank God. He's impressed me so much more and more and more and more and more on these top tier teams, man. I don't think, yeah, okay. I think Pat the Power up here at 10 fits for me. I think these two are probably better though, just in general overall, but you can make an argument. I feel comfortable with this. I mean, Ginyu is somewhere around here, but like I wouldn't put Ginyu above Super Saiyan Vegeta. I mean, Goku Gohan, I arguably would say he's in a better spot than Ginyu right now. So I don't know. I think Ginyu should have had some changes to him. I did make this tweet. I was thinking of reading it out, but I feel like we're 15 minutes in. I mean, I could probably just make this its own video, I guess. Why not? Why not? I guess it'll be its own video, but there's the tier list. Let me know what you guys are thinking. Thanks all for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.